Hey, how's it going, Colby?
Well, how are you?
Good, nice to see you again. Hey, Andrea.
Thank you for sending that.
Oh, no problem. And I'll make sure that I have, do you like both email addresses?
Preferably the Mansfield one, just simply
Okay.
because, like I said, I use the school issued Chromebook, and then I can access that from Gmail.
All right, perfect, no problem. So I'll just make sure when I'm sending things that it's going to the Mansfield address.
Thank you.
No problem. Sorry about that.
That's good. I was reviewing the minutes and I saw that comment about having the flyers reviewed. Did we get a little hand slap there for the one at the community center?
It's not a hand slap. It's just that Kathleen asked that next time she just wants to see them before they go out publicly.
Okay, that was fine.
Not a big deal. And I didn't know either. She was like, she saw it and she was like, hey, next time.
Okay, not a problem. Understood.
Hey, Emily, how are you?
Oh, I was totally muted. Like, gosh, no one's answering. I was asking Colby, is this your first Celebrate Mansfield Festival meeting?
This is.
Okay, exciting. You're lucky. I feel like you got on the best committee. Don't tell anyone else, but.
Well, I was so excited because me and the other student board member had a meeting and we were, kind of picking committees and working groups. And I obviously let her kind of voice hers first. And when she didn't pick the two that I was going for.
Nice. Denise, do we know if Ginny's coming today?
I think Ginny is coming. I know we were both on the email. Christine won't be joining us tonight. Let me just double check my email.
I also have somewhere I need to run off to, so I can do a quick update on my end of all the things, and then I just can't stay till the end.
Okay.
No problem.
Thank you. It's been a crazy week.
Do you want us to bump number 5 up on the agenda? Would that be helpful?
Yeah, I need to leave by like 5:30, but one of the updates is about the dishwashing, so I would want to wait for Ginny so that she could.
Yep.
Yeah, I just double checked my email. I don't have any emails specifically where she said she wasn't going to come. So I would say let's just give it like another 2 minutes or so, and then we can kind of jump in. I'll send her an email. Oh, there we go.
Hi, Ginny. Okay, so I think we have everyone. Let's go ahead and get started. So we'll call this meeting to order. I'm thinking there were no public comments. Right, Denise?
Yep, that's right.
I feel like I always have to ask because one of these days there's going to be a public comment,
No problem. So I'm actually going to be taking minutes from this recording. So I'm just going to say out loud, it's 5:03 p.m. That's when we're calling to order. No public comment. And I think for Colby, maybe, I'm sorry I didn't put it in the agenda, but do we want to go around and introduce ourselves?
Let's do some introductions. Colby, do you want to introduce yourself to everyone and then we'll go around and introduce ourselves?
Sure, that'd be great. Hi, everyone. My name is Colby Tremblay. I am a new student filling the student role, UConn student role for the board of directors. And I am joining the festival committee, which I'm super excited about. I'll be a rising senior at the University of Connecticut in the fall, pursuing a major in elementary education with a double minor in American Sign Language with a focus on interpreting and English literature.
Welcome.
Welcome. Yep. I can go next.
Yeah.
I'm Andreas Lennon. As you can see, part of this committee as well. Working mostly with Sarah on the volunteers is pretty much my big task, but I'm also a pre-K para at what used to be Southeast School and in the future will be Mansfield Elementary School, and am involved in the community in various roles. So.
How about Jenny?
Sure. I'm Jenny Walton, and I work for the town as the recycling coordinator and have been recently on this committee, although I've attended meetings since the beginning to make the pitch for low waste composting. So, and we're moving along with that idea these days. So.
I can go. So I am Sarah Dufresne. I work for Mansfield Youth Services. So I also work for the town. So I'm kind of here, there, and everywhere. We run a lot of programs with little kids, middle school kids, and high school kids. And I am on this committee because I live and work in town. My kids go to the school, and I just love what this is. So welcome. Thank you. This is exciting.
And Colby, I know we've met, but again, I'm Emily. I'm the manager of operations and collections at the Ballard Institute. I'm on the board, and then right now I'm the chair of this committee. And Denise, have you and Colby met in person possibly, or?
Yes, so we've met, but just I'm the event coordinator for the Mansfield Downtown Partnership.
Great. Well, and then we have one other person, Christine, who's on the board, who works with Yukon Communications, and hopefully you'll get to meet her at the next meeting. So welcome to the Celebrate Mansfield Committee. I think we're really excited to have kind of your perspective, especially as a Yukon student, as we move forward with planning. So just to keep this moving along, because I know Sarah has to get out of here. I'm sure we all want to get out of here on time. Let's take a look at the minutes from June 14th. And is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second? Any comments? No? Okay, all in favor? Right. Okay, so does it make sense to stick with staff update right now and then move into the volunteer?
I would say, actually, let's come back to the staff update. We'll do
Yeah.
the volunteer, and I realized I forgot to put the update on the reusable materials for food service. So I would say I think we need to do a motion to add it to the agenda. Is that
Okay.
how that works?
I haven't read my Robert's Rules of Order. Is there a motion to add update on, how did you word, like low waste options?
Materials.
Low waste materials to the agenda?
I will make that motion to add that agenda item to update us on low waste materials.
Is there a second?
Do a second.
Okay, I think it looked like we were all in favor right there too. Okay, we will add that. So let's go ahead and start with update on volunteer and area captain outreach, and then we'll move into the low waste materials.
Okay, so I know Andrea shared in the email that she has 2 confirmed volunteers, but not area captains, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I was able to confirm 2 definite area captains that are not in our normal group, like including us. And I just actually had a mom reach out to me today, and she was like, how can I get back to the community? And I was like, hey, do I have a job for you? So I'm almost positive that we will have that person as well. And then I have not reached out to some of the people on that initial list, Denise, that has done it in the past. I know 2 of them were out of state because there was a death in the family, so I was kind of waiting. So I will definitely follow up with all those emails next week. But I do think we're in really good shape. I'm going to also start because I know a lot of the students will start moving back the first few weeks of August. So we can start sending emails to the student organizations, and then we'll get that Google form going so that we have an actual list of our volunteers and where they will be. But I think we'll be okay with the area captains. I mean, last year we had like 5 of us and we managed to pull it off. So I think if we're on a good upward trajectory of having more area captains, and I think we'll be good.
And as I had indicated in that email, Denise, for the most part, I know that the school, I should say the volunteers and everything at the school were just really exhausted at the end of the year. So I was just kind of giving them a breather before I'm tapping them for the next event. So I'm kind of thinking like end July, beginning August, I'll like just really send something out again to the school community. I think by then people will be willing already, they've regrouped and are ready to sign up for the next event.
No, I think that's great. And I'll follow back with, I know Cynthia was hoping for a report. So I'll give her those names of sort of where we are with the area captains, and that there's a third sort of in talks, and kind of just go from there. And I think that'll be good. Would you, either of you, like me to send, I know I had put together that larger file kind of compiling everything. Do you want anything separate to work from on the volunteer stuff?
I'm okay. And then I actually think I'll be able to get you a list of actual confirmed area captains by midweek next week. And then you can just have that for part of the report. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
Because how many of us are willing to be area captains that
I mean, I'm
day, just
assuming
so I
that
can
I'll
add us
be,
to that as well. Like
at the
I will
head.
be an area captain.
yeah, and I think I'll be at like the headquarters booth all day probably.
Okay.
And just to fill Colby in, area captains kind of oversee different groups of volunteers. And then Celebrate Mansfield is a pretty major volunteer opportunity for a lot of the student sports groups and, sororities and fraternities. And we had such a large outpouring of support and people showing up to volunteer last year that it became a little bit overwhelming for us at times. So we're really trying to plan ahead and get like names and numbers and figure it out to have it a little bit more structured, because so many people wanted to volunteer last year.
Yeah, I know. I think I signed up to work at the Downtown Mansfield Partnership booth for part of the time, but if there's like someone who could cover that and me be as a section leader, I'd be happy to work that out too, depending on where I'm needed most.
Music to my ears, Colby, music to my ears. So just looking at the list that I have, Denise, right now we have 7 confirmed. So, and that would include us and then the other people. And then it would be 8 if that mom agrees. So I think we're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I think that sounds fantastic. Thank you so much. That's,
Yep.
Yeah, we're in
And I
good
feel
shape.
like we might be able to pick Colby's brain a little bit once we start reaching out to those student organizations. You might also have some thoughts of other groups, or how to really get in touch with people and get them to sign up ahead of time. Great. Any other updates on volunteers? Sounds like we're in really good shape. Okay, how about an update on low waste materials?
I don't have anything to report. I'm waiting to hear about the conversation with the food service director. So I don't know, Sarah, where are you at with that?
Do you have an update, Jenny? Yep. So Stephanie and I talked, and she did say that the EO Smith, the way that their setup is, it really just is not conducive to what we are looking to do. So she said that the easiest thing to do would be to use the middle school. And what we could do is any dishes that we have, we could drop off on that Saturday or even that Sunday morning. And then her staff would run them and clean them that Monday. We could do a quick wipe down that day. They would be at the middle school. They would then get cleaned that morning, and then we would have to find a way to then get them to where we're storing them. But the middle school is definitely the best option. She said that she can commit staff to be cleaning them. I have access to the school. I have a fob, and I have a way for us to get in on that Saturday, Ginny. So I think that sounds like the best option. I think that sounds like a really good option, actually, to just kind of be able to leave them and have staff clean them. I was like, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good update.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So now it's just purchasing the items. So, which I think is, very doable. So, okay, between now and the festival.
So they're volunteering their equipment and their staff. Wow. So do we make them a sponsor of some sort?
Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. And I mean, I didn't go over all the logistics. She didn't seem to think it would be a problem that we would have to pay for their hours because she did state that they're there anyway. I know in the past when I've used other department staff, we do have to like enter office money and move things around. But she did not seem to make it sound like that was going to be an obstacle. And I can obviously circle back with her, but I mean, the conversation we had was, yeah, this is a go. Let's just kind of plan on it this way. And then her biggest thing was like, she didn't want to have to ask a staff to come in on a Saturday night. But then
Right.
I was like, but I have access. So it just worked out that I have a fob that opens the middle school, and then I'll just double check with the principal ahead of time to let them know I'll be going in on Saturday, and then we'll be okay.
Excellent. Thank you, Sarah. You rock.
I don't think I did that much, but you are welcome, Jenny. I just pestered
It's
her
awesome.
enough. I pestered her enough till she came to my office, and I love having conversations with her anyway. So it was a great time. We caught up on life and we got to wash some dishes at the middle school.
Oh, thank you. So I think that is great news. The on my end, what I'll do is I'll follow up because I know we already recognize Region 19 and the town of Mansfield as sort of sponsoring the event. So I'll make sure that it also just recognizes is Mansfield dining services, Mansfield
I think they're
Food service.
food
Fine.
Yeah,
service.
Mansfield Food Services. Hold on, then.
Okay, so I'll make sure that that's part of our recognition. And then unfortunately, the only food booth we have right now is the Dairy Bar ice cream truck. So I'm trying to get us some more food booths. That's kind of one of my priorities in the next few weeks.
And I
Um,
wonder, do we put any like signage at where we're gonna have the dish drop off, like specifically recognizing the food service, Mansfield Food Service or something like that, brought to you by, or I don't know, something. Specifically noting that they're supporting the low waste material initiative.
Yeah, I mean, at the waste stations, we'll have a table or a bin for collecting the materials, and probably we should have that at every station, right? Just in case. Yeah. So, so there could be something there. There could also be something at each food booth. So Denise, there's some logistical things that I should sort out with you then, with like, which I don't know that we need to take time up for this meeting with regards to the washable plates and bowls. So like the publicity around that, and or maybe it is a committee thing, I don't know. But also I'd really like to have a instructional video on the sort, so that when volunteers show up the morning of, like they do, that haven't signed up beforehand, we can just say, here, go to this YouTube. This will, this is going to show you what we're doing at each of the waste stations. So I don't know who we might get on board to do that. The one that I did would be out of date because it would be about, compostable, all the compostable food service.
I had in my notes, I think it was from our last meeting, that there was a teacher at the middle school we were going to follow up with.
I can email him.
Okay, great. I was going to say also, if you want to send me his name, I can follow up too, wherever you're
Sure, I can
comfortable.
send that to you.
Thank
I
you.
mean, I don't mind reaching out to him because I like know him personally, so I don't mind. Not like personally, but he knows who I am from being
Okay,
out the
thank
school,
you.
so I don't mind emailing him.
And then Ginny, what I'd say is you and I, I'll send you sort of a meeting, a few times that we can talk about kind of when you're best available
Yeah.
to sit down and talk through sort of the promotion side of how we want to describe it and who we
Yeah.
need to recognize.
Okay, great.
And is the next step for Sarah and Ginny to go on their shopping spree? I thought I remembered a big shopping trip was going to happen. So I can't wait to see what we buy.
Yeah. And let me tell you, I hate to shop. I really do.
I think
As
Sarah
my-
will take care of it.
Ginny, I am your girl. I already said we got this. We will get the van. We will take a drive to Restaurant Depot. You just get ready with the swipey card and we're good.
Okay.
Wow, I can't wait. So now I think we can move on to staff updates. Unless there's anything else, Sarah, that seems pressing for you to be able to speak to.
No, but as you will see that my lovely child is going to keep coming in every 2 minutes until he knows we are leaving. So I will probably be sneaking off shortly.
Sounds good. So sponsor appeal and fundraising total.
Yeah, I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between two screens because I'm working from home. So my apologies on that. So in regards to the sponsorship totals, we currently have 17,300 committed, which is great. Between Cynthia and I, we've done a lot of follow-up and we've had some good commitments from some businesses who weren't certain. So we are, at this point, I would say we're in really good shape because even if we weren't able to get any additional commitments, we have enough in a combination of our 270 fund, as well as some additional resources at the partnership to fully meet our budget. So Cynthia and I will continue with that sponsor outreach, but it's kind of a nice kind of weight off the shoulders. We're at the point where we've hit what we needed realistically to move forward with the budget.
And was the goal around 20,000?
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. So we're in good shape. It's really nice. We're waiting still to hear back from, I don't know if you remember from a few meetings ago, we put out a few applications to some larger sponsors where it was like online portals where sort of like filling out a grant. So we're still waiting to hear on a few of those. So hopefully we'll get good news.
That's amazing. Thanks, Denise and Cynthia for making that all. I know it's hard to have to follow up with all those people and stay on top of them, but that's really great. Do you
Yeah,
need
it's-
any more help from the committee to follow up with anyone else?
I don't think so. Yeah, I know. I was grateful last month when we talked about and everybody was willing to help, but I think at this point, kind of looking at the numbers with where we are, I think we're in good shape.
Amazing. How about confirmed booths?
So for booths, we are currently at 20, pardon me, 23 confirmed activity booths. Those are coming in regularly. Our goal is to be at about 50. So we're about halfway there. This is one not an unusual way for people to sign up. We often get the most applications the week before they're due. So that's not due until August. So I would bet in the next few weeks, we'll get quite a few more applications. And I'll continue. What I do at this point is individual follow-up with the organizations that have had booths previously and haven't signed up yet. I just kind of do a little check-in to say, hey, would you like to join us this year? In regards to food booths, I know I already mentioned, unfortunately, the only food booth we have at the moment is the Dairy Bar ice cream shop. I mean, it's not unfortunate. They are wonderful. But we are definitely looking for some more food booths. In regards to craft booths, we currently have 9 applications. And I believe Cynthia mentioned that there's one more in the office. So we probably have 10 applications for craft booths. And I'm hoping to get a few more because that'll give us some flexibility as to who we approve for those craft booths, because we have 10 slots available for craft booths.
Do you need any help following up with any of those activity or food or craft booths?
Not at the moment. I don't think so. Food booths, just so you know, it's not unusual. I have
Yeah.
found since I came to the partnership in 2019, for whatever reason, that is the hardest thing for us to get for this event, is food vendors. So that's in line with how it's been previously. So I'll
How
continue.
many do we normally have?
It has varied, but I know earlier this month I was looking at sort of the history of food booths at the festival, and generally during the time it's been in the downtown, there have been between 3 to 5. That's kind
what I
of
was
the
thinking.
average. Now, back when it used to be in another location before the downtown was built, and they had a lot more food booths there, which makes sense because some of the businesses that are in the downtown had booths back when it wasn't right next to their restaurant.
Yeah. That makes sense. And what about potential and confirmed entertainment?
I have no updates on entertainment beyond the fact that I will say our headlining band is in the process of being contracted, but until that contract is signed, I don't want to publicly say who it is. So I'm sorry about that. But it is right. Very, very close. That contract just needs to be signed. Beyond that, I have a little follow-up to do just because I didn't hear back from Johnny Walker from my outreach this spring, where he said he needed to take some time to think about it. So I just plan to follow back with him to see if he'll be joining us this year.
And I talked with Kunzika, who paraded with a large puppet last year, and they were interested in participating again. So Denise, I was going to send an email this evening to Kunzika and you just to make that connection, if that seems okay to you.
Yeah, I think that sounds great. They were wonderful. They made a big impact in the kid zone. So
Yeah.
I think it would be great to have them back. And maybe we
Right.
can talk about the schedule. I know I remember because they participated in the puppet pageant last year. So we can think about how to schedule them so that it's just a little better.
Yeah.
So it's not exhausting.
That sounds good. There's also 2 puppet art students that are also aerialists. I wanted to get them last year, but they were saying like it was too short of a notice and it's a lot of setup. So maybe you and I can discuss kind of the budget, and if that's something that could be of interest. It would take up a little bit of space, but they have like a large rig and can do like aerialist stuff. They went to clowning school too, you know, in addition to being puppetry students. So I thought that might be kind of a cool option as well.
Yeah, I think that would be fantastic. And I do remember talking about it last year. So yeah, I think that would be great if they're available. The other thing, just as we're talking, I have it's sort of out there as possible. The Joshua's Trust proposed having an electric car rally, and they would sort of put it together. So just with summer vacations, after I got that initial email and said, oh yeah, that sounds great, then we couldn't get together. So I'm following back with them in August to work out some of the details. If that moves forward, it'll probably happen either in a portion of the E.O. Smith parking lot or the Fine Arts parking lot, which we've reserved with UConn. So that'll be kind of a nice, it's similar to what we've been talking about with the sort of classic cars, but sort of tying into our mission for sustainability.
So is this would be happening during the festival?
Yes, yeah. What we only talked about it briefly. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to really sit down and have a full meeting about it before my contact. She kind of went away for the whole summer. So she said she would be back in August. But so what she was thinking was for sort of a portion of the event, whether it's 1 hour or possibly a little more, having the electric vehicles and their owners available to answer questions and showcase the cars and sort of for people to sort of see the available sort of options, thinking about more sustainable vehicles.
We did that at the Earth Extravaganza. We had vehicle owners with their cars for people to talk to them about it. So, yeah, I mean, if there's any interest in from Joshua's trust in connecting with the sustainability committee, because it was done through the members of the sustainability committee. There was also electric bicycles there as well. So, let me know.
Yeah, fantastic. What I'll do is when my contact, I'm sorry, I can't offhand. I think
Is
her
it
name was
Karen
Ann.
Zimmer?
I
Ann Dunnick?
I think it might have been Ann, but oh no, it might have been Nancy. I think it might have been Nancy.
Oh, Cylinder?
Yes.
Okay.
But so when she's back in town and I reconnect, that's good to know. So I'll let her know that the sustainability committee has recently hosted an event like this, and I'll sort of connect her with you or
Yeah.
with your team.
Yeah. And I'll mention at the sustainability committee too, because which is tomorrow night. One of the things I was going to ask them is if they wanted to have an activity booth. So.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, so that's all I have for entertainment at the moment.
Great. Safety review with emergency team.
Yeah, so this is something we do every year, meeting with the fire chief, the sergeant from the state trooper's office, the fire marshal, and the building inspector to talk about safety on the festival site. I did just want to let you know that we have already scheduled our meeting just because of recent events and sort of thinking about safety at large public events. That kind of stirred us to schedule this meeting a little bit sooner. I know it's something previously we've talked about having sort of an emergency station prepped at the Eva Smith parking lot, just in case it were ever to be needed. That was with a slightly different team. We've had some change in staffing in the emergency services. So I'm not certain if they are going to want to go ahead with that this year, but I will let you know. And I just put that on there just to keep you up to date, just in case any of you had been following the news and thinking about safety at our event.
No, that's important, and I think it's good to have that conversation now as we start to get closer.
And have the emergency teams ever been interested in having a like an activity booth as well, to make a presence of, we're in the town and we're not just for scary things, but we're also here for good things? That might be a good way to, if we wanted them to have a booth, they could also have part of their booth being some activity to make them have a friendlier face as well.
Oh, absolutely. So the Mansfield Fire Department always has a booth. They sell water. That's like their thing. They have a booth where they talk about their services and they sell water. And then the police department, it has sort of changed year to year, but starting last year, they really liked bringing really showy things. So this year they are planning, besides a booth, they're also planning to bring, it's sort of like a, it's like a boat slash hover kind of craft. They had it last year, and I'm just making sure we have space for it this year. So yeah, they will be there. And then also one of the things that they do is we use emergency vehicles to help create barriers at all of the closed road intersections, as well as the public works trucks. And so each of those teams are really good about, when there's families, any of the kids that might be interested in sort of like the touch a truck kind of feel, they always invite them to kind of explore the truck.
Is part of this safety review, if I remember kind of our site plan, we were starting to think about changing some of the entrances and exits for like activity booths and vendors. Do they have to review and approve all of those changes as well, or is that not something they have to do?
It is something that I think we're going to talk about because it is a big change. So our initial site plan went to the town traffic authority in March as part of kind of our annual discussion about closing roads. And so that had those different entrances that we talked about. So the emergency team they're on the traffic authority, so they have seen that, but I do think that we'll be discussing it at the walkthrough and safety review.
Right. Thinking of what Colby was just saying about like trying to make them feel more approachable. Have we ever had Yukon Public Safety or the police department come like with what is it, Officer Tildy?
They love Tildy. They love Tildy and
Like-
Officer Carson. I'm sure
Yeah.
they do a lot of events at Yukon, so I would
Yeah.
imagine
No,
that they would
because I've worked at the orientation for the partnership, and our booth is like right across from Officer Tildy and his team. So I wasn't sure if Yukon Police ever have a presence, if having kind of those what are like canine companion type dogs there would be nice.
That is a great suggestion. So for this event, I don't think we ever have had them have a presence. I know they're part of the sort of notification where we send out notices about the event happening. We have invited them for, like, I'm trying to think, trick or treat. We've invited them to participate with sort of the emergency vehicle touch a truck, but that's a great idea. So I'm going to add them to the follow-up after this meeting, just to invite them to have a booth and join us. Because I agree, I think the emergency dog sitting at orientation, it's the most popular booth by far.
Seriously, like parents and kids were just like running over to the dog. One of the officers that I think walks around with him, I've kind of worked with some training at Ballard Institute. So I'd be happy to kind of get in touch with him if it's helpful at all, to see if he'd be willing to bring the dog out. But I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'll start with kind of a general outreach and we'll kind of see where we go from there.
Great. Okay, so we already did number 5, review of Scarecrow Contest materials. I was looking at the minutes since I missed last month, and I really loved that idea and all of the decoration ideas. So do we have any updates on that?
Yeah, so I just included, basically what I did was I took the our trim a tree contest from our holiday event and I updated it for a scarecrow contest. I sort of did a little bit of research to see what other scarecrow contests, kind of the different ways that they describe it and the limitations that they give people. So that's where some of these, the sizes, the self-supporting, I kind of pulled that from other people's applications. I did want to sort of ask kind of basically your thoughts overall about sort of the application and outreach form. But specifically, one of the things I'm wondering about, because I was sort of thinking about the fall, if we have them setting up the weekend of September 24th, I've kept in this, asked them to stay, sort of said the scarecrows will be on display throughout October with them coming down November 1st. Do you think that's too long of a time frame, or what are your thoughts about that?
If it's straw that they're using, it maybe, yeah, it kind of depends on the weather, how they hold up. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a straw scarecrow, does it? Or is it? Is the base being provided to them and then they decorate it? How does that work?
No, so that was something I know we talked about at our last meeting. I did a little sort of searching around with other scarecrow contests, and most scarecrow contests do not supply anything. The people sort of provide their own structure and support for the scarecrow.
Yeah, okay.
I did add, again, to tie in with our mission of sustainability, I recommended that people use natural or repurposed decorations.
I see that, yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough, and that's where I'm just not sure, because I know if we have bad weather for most of October, these are going to look terrible by the time we're taking them down. But sometime, I mean, it's a tricky time of the year. So I just wanted to get other thoughts on that timeline.
So the partnership does a trick or trunk event, or a pseudo trick or trunk event. When does that usually occur?
Yeah, so it's the Saturday before Halloween. So this year it's Saturday, the 29th of October.
So I guess the question is the goal to have those there for that, or is the goal to get them cleared out of the way for people to decorate trunks of cars or booths, however that looks, you know. I guess that would be my concern is like, are we combining like so many that event that it's like, here's the remnants of Celebrate Mansfield that's now like trickling into the next event if they start to look a little worn down or like worse for wear.
That's a perfect question. So that was exactly my thought. We don't get a lot of decorating for Halloween in the downtown. What we always recommend is that the businesses are welcome to decorate their windows, but it's not something we get a ton of participation in, specifically in the fall. We do get more winter decorations. So my thought was if we could keep these up through Halloween, it gives sort of that fall feel.
My only thought, if we do that, I would specify, you know, in here that the goal, like I would mention something about Halloween, something, you know, that this will be up for another fall event, or our goal is to keep them up for another fall event to, you know, me decorating a scarecrow versus for a September theme might be very different for like a fall theme. So if we add in there, like our goal is to keep it as festive fall decoration, that might also inspire some people to inspire, you know, it might just inspire as well.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And where do you think, like, where will they go for display, both on the day of the festival and then kind of permanently for the month?
Yeah, I did a little bit of sort of looking at the site plan for the downtown and sort of looking at where we would have space for these. The tricky part is having space to set up the scarecrow that doesn't impede safe use of the sidewalk. So I have a few spaces, about 10 that I've been looking at. We will have to get these approved by the town traffic authority and discuss with Public Works kind of our plan for the locations and the length of time. So that's something, even though we're planning this, we do have to get it approved by some other groups.
Because I wonder if we could be kind of strategic, like once we have our scarecrows, we can kind of look at the materials and who might hold up. I think, like, you know, I know a lot of them might want to be on the town square, but we also have the like overhang from Barnes and Noble, and we have our marquee that might protect it a little bit. Some could go under the awning of the stage if we don't plan on having a ton of stuff, you know, like maybe the more fragile ones could go under something to protect them a little bit more.
To add into that, sorry, Andre.
No, that's fine. I was just going to add that even like maybe more of some of the fragile materials, like is there room inside the transportation center in the lobby, and you know, or maybe one in the lobby of the community center, like the ones that just need that little, you know, little bit more shielding or protection. Maybe they can get an interior location.
I was about to add to kind of work on, I know we've been talking about window art displays. If there's any shorter scarecrows, maybe it could be one of those window art displays, could be 2 scarecrows or something. If we had the turnout that, like Andrea said, those ones that maybe need an inside location. And I know that we've been in talks with the property owners to like let us use that space. So those would probably be an easier one to say, you know, for the month of October, it'll be the scarecrows.
Yeah, I you know, the other thing I'm thinking of is the potential of them being vandalized, you know, if they're outside. So anyhow, I mean, hey, it's a first year. I guess we'll find out, right?
I mean, I feel like this could get popular. I mean, maybe this first year it's, you know, but eventually I feel like this could get really popular. You see it in other communities. And I just think of like all the Yukon groups or like younger school groups, you know, or Girl Scouts or like that could want to do it. And that could be really fun. So I feel like this could be a really cool kind of community thing. And especially to have it around, because then people could take a tour of the town and see all the scarecrows, you know, and yeah, I love this idea.
Yeah, I was just to add, I was thinking that same thing with the different Yukon groups might be really into it. And I know that there's a lot of towns now do like a list of locations of Christmas lights. So if we did a list of, you know, even if it in all different places around downtown stores, here the scarecrows, that could be a fun way to get people moving throughout the area. And I know even, you know, working all the way down towards town hall and then even onto UConn campus. If there were clubs specifically that wanted them, potentially UConn would even house a Scarecrow or two on their campus.
I think your guidelines make a lot of sense, Denise. I think what Colby said, maybe, adding in there kind of between, like, your number 3 kind of gets to themes a little bit, and number 5 kind of gets to the materials, but maybe it is making it pretty clear that our goal is to have these up for a month through Halloween. So really think about what materials you're using so that they're durable, but also make it a theme that, feels like it's relevant to fall and to Halloween. But that, I think, kind of going along with your number 8, like you said, we have the right to remove it if it's flammable. I think we also have the right, like if it starts to deteriorate and looks kind of rough, then maybe we have to pull that Scarecrow a little early, and they get retired. But yeah, I think that these guidelines make a lot of sense.
These are all great suggestions. I think that those are kind of easy ways that I can update some of those just to make it clearer. Yeah, thank you guys. So this is great. So the just so you know, sort of next steps, what I'll do, I'm going to make those changes that we talked about, and then meet with Kathleen to kind of talk about sort of marketing, how we would promote this, because I know she has a festival marketing plan. So it's just sort of fitting this into the plan. And then meeting with Public Works and the Town Traffic Authority to just get approval for those locations.
And I feel like the social media thing, like you were saying, I think the vote was supposed to be on social media. Like, I think that could be really fun. We could get a hashtag going and people can take selfies with the Scarecrows and vote. So I think this could be, really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I can say this is originally what inspired the Trim a Tree contest. So it was specifically, I saw the Manchester Scarecrow, it was Manchester Main Street. Their nice store Scarecrow. Their contest was all online, and it was a great campaign where it just kept coming up in my feed where I saw all of the different Scarecrows.
That's awesome. And that's exactly what I was thinking, Colby. I love a good alliteration. So stores is perfect. Okay. So the August meeting date, right now it's scheduled for August 9th.
Yes, I just wanted to check in with all of you. We could potentially move it. I apologize. So we have a larger vacation that's sort of a family. It's sort of a family reunion where the dates were a little out of my hand. So I tried to lead it away from that, but so I will be gone that week. So I just wanted to make sure that you all were comfortable meeting without me. I think Emily, you and I can meet sort of the week before just to talk through. And one of the big things for that next meeting is to review the craft booth applications and make decisions on who we're going to approve for craft booths.
And you said there can only be 10.
Yeah, I mean, there's always like if we get like a ton of great ones, we'll just kind of have to rework the festival site a little bit. One of the things, I'll put it together just like I did last year, where it's the application with any photographs that they've included, so you can sort of see their materials as well as read their application. I know this year, one thing that's a little bit interesting, there are at least 2 booths that until you go to their website, it's not necessarily clear how connected they are to Mansfield and stores, but they're former UConn grads, and that's kind of their connection. And I didn't find it until I was going through their website.
Well, does the August 9th date still work for everyone else? So I'm just thinking if a lot of people weren't available, we could reschedule it. I mean, Denise, do you feel okay with us moving forward with August 9th?
Will Kathleen be staffing that meeting then?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So you actually can meet without a staff member. It is okay. Kathleen will be staffing that one because she assured me today that she will have an update on entertainment for that next meeting. But if she weren't available, you also as a committee you can meet without us. It is okay.
Okay, I'm available for that evening. Yeah.
Okay, well, if it makes sense, Denise, we can move forward with that date. But if you prefer for us to reschedule, I'm also pretty flexible as well. So
I'm fine either way. I didn't want to make a big deal about it. I just wanted to make sure that you guys, I wanted to apologize and let you know that I wouldn't be there for that meeting.
Okay.
Will that be the last meeting then before the festival, or then it goes to weekly meetings?
Not weekly, but it is twice a month. So after August 9th, there's a second August meeting, 2 weeks
Okay.
later. And then there's
Yeah.
one in the beginning of September. And then the final meeting is the week of the festival.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So is there anything else or are we good to adjourn? Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Second? Okay, I think we're all in favor. So we will go ahead and adjourn this meeting and then I will see most of you on August 9th. Thanks.
Thank you
everyone.
guys so much.
Bye.
Have a
I'm just
good
gonna say
summer.
out loud, it's 5:49 that we're adjourning.